Hello, I'm Anarchy Ball. Now that that's out of the way, let's do this.
I'm the Amazing Atheist, and I'm laissez-faire, which is French for crispy otter bladder. What?
You're not funny.
Free market capitalism. It's an idea that's growing in popularity in the United States, largely as a reaction to the socialist policies of Barack Obama, who has implemented such draconian measures as to, for instance, Obama, sorry, I can't think of an example of Obama's socialism because only stupid white rednecks have the ability to perceive his socialism, and I'm only half stupid white redneck, so the invisible socialism spotting gene is actually recessive in me. Cough.
Let's see, Obama has implemented socialist Obamacare and bailed out corporations and the banks. Not only that, besides from Obama, over the last 100 years, socialist policies such as Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, etc. have been put in place. Policies which are very quickly becoming bankrupt because they are unsustainable.
Let's discuss free market capitalism, because I know that is the hot button issue of our age, and it's the topic that's on everyone's mind. Every time you go out the door, you just hear people talking about free market capitalism. But Amazing Atheist, what is free market capitalism?
This is the part where the Amazing Atheist breaks down what capitalism is. Problem is, it takes him 3 fucking minutes to do so let me sum it up much quicker so we can move on to his problem with capitalism. Here's the definition of capitalism. Capitalism. Noun. Capitalism. An economic and political system in which a country's trade and industry are controlled by private owners for profit, rather than by the state.
And I'm gonna tell you why free market capitalism just won't fucking work. It won't work. Here's why.
So you're saying that the individual shouldn't be in charge of the market, but the government should dictate what you make, how much you spend on making it, and how much you sell it for?
Let's say that you have some goods that I want, and I have some money that you want. If your goods are worth as much as my money, and my money is worth as much as your goods, then neither of us can increase our wealth by this transaction.
Wealth is generated by the creation of products and services, not by the transactions themselves. If I cut down a tree and turn it into a bench and chairs, I have created wealth, whether I keep it for myself or I sell it to someone else.
So the question is, how can wealth disparity emerge in a free market capitalist system? I don't think it can, and I'll tell you why.
So in your own words, you don't think wealth disparity can emerge in a free market capitalist system, and that's a bad thing?
The only way that either of us stands to gain anything in a free market capitalist system is if I pay you more for your product than what it's worth, or if I pay you less for your product than what it's worth. In other words, you have to scam me, or I have to scam you.
What the fuck?
Therefore, the free market is inherently incapable of generating wealth.
Value is made up of 2 parts, objective and subjective. Water is needed to sustain life. That is objective. Someone near a lake is more easily parted with water than someone in a desert. That is subjective. If I trade you a chicken for plumbing services, I value your fixing my plumbing over the chicken, and you value the chicken over your labor. We wouldn't make the transaction unless we both felt that we were coming ahead, so no fraud involved.
But maybe not, because what about labor? What about trading an intangible for a tangible? Let's examine that. Let's say that you own a gas station. Your gas station makes $2,000 a day in profit. That means after utilities, after employees, after mortgage or rent, after you pay for the goods that stock your shelves, after you pay for your advertising, $2,000 a day on average is what you've got left. So you're making $2,000 a day in profit because you have a workforce. You have laborers who work under you. And they are able to prop you up financially to the point where you can make $2,000 a day.
What are you talking about? Workers don't prop up anyone financially. Hiring a workforce allows a business to be more productive, therefore sell more products or services. If you own a roadside stand selling hand-woven baskets and can make 15 baskets a day while also selling them and hire someone to run the stand while you concentrate on making baskets, increasing your productivity to 25 per day, you can now make more overall profit because you have more product to sell. Your costs go up because you are hiring a second person, but that is covered by the fact that you can now sell more product.
So does that mean that the free market is capable of generating wealth? No.
Yes, dipshit.
Because what is the value of labor? There is no intrinsic value of labor. The value of labor, my beloved listeners, is determined by what the labor accomplishes.
It's called education and experience, dumbass. The more education and experience you have, the more your labor is worth in value.
For instance, if you got some guy standing in the middle of a field just going like this,
you just look stupid.
His labor is worth nothing. He is accomplishing nothing. But if you got some guy standing around going like this, but he's got a hammer in his hands and he's hammering in a nail to frame a house, then his labor is worth something. It's the exact same motion, but you change the context and voila! The value of the labor changes. Both men are exerting themselves equally, but that's not what matters. What matters is what they are accomplishing.
Yes, different laborers have different values. This is based upon the fact that some skills are much more difficult to acquire, thus are rarer. More or less, anyone can learn to swing a hammer. Not everyone can learn to operate a nuclear reactor. Hence, the person running a nuclear reactor is going to be paid more than the person swinging the fucking hammer.
Therefore, if your gas station is making $2,000 a day, then every worker should be entitled to their fair share of that money.
They would be entitled to that fair share of the money when they buy the merchandise that is to be sold, and pay for the company's insurances. Oh, and split the bill on advertisements. Oh, and meet other company CEOs to negotiate deals. Oh, and be financially responsible for the store. Those clerks are really slacking off and need to step up their game.
They shouldn't be paid $10 an hour or whatever. They should be paid based on the percentage of hours that they worked in comparison with how much money the company actually generated.
A worker's fair share is what their wage is. If a worker doesn't feel that they are getting a fair share, then they can take their labor elsewhere. Who do you think should make more at the basket stand? The person making the baskets or the person running the stand? In the gas station, the profit is going to the person who buys the gas, pays the rent, pays the utilities, buys the groceries. Without the person being there, none of the other people who work there would have a job. Also, he's the one taking the financial risk. He should be the one getting paid the most. This is obvious.
If you don't pay them that amount, then you're defrauding them.
Wages are mutually agreed upon by both the worker and the employee. If the employee doesn't like the wage they are getting paid, they are free to leave and seek out a wage they feel is worth their time. The owner isn't defrauding them because they are paying the worker what they agreed upon.
Because you're not paying them what the value of their labor truly is.
Yes, they are. I have yet to see a minimum wage worker negotiate a deal with the CEO of an oil company. Instead, they just sell merchandise and clean, and make sure nothing illegal happens, even if they could do that right.
And besides, in a free market system, a gas station wouldn't be able to turn $2,000 in profit anyway, because they couldn't get away with selling their gas and other goods for that price. And I know that people aren't just paying for the gas, they're paying for the infrastructure of the company that brings them the gas and brings them little snack bars. But that doesn't matter, because you see, the only amount that you could possibly be justified in charging those people for those goods and services is the bare minimum amount of money that is needed to get that gas in their tank. Any money that you pocket as pure profit that you don't need to live on, that is unnecessary. You're charging them more for those goods and services than they're actually worth, which is a form, I think, of fraud.
Profiting is the main driver for people to create products and services, thus innovate. If people did not anticipate a gain from their actions, why would they do it? What's the matter? You feel like you were ripped off and couldn't get your money back because you made a transaction without understanding the fine print?
Now, most free marketers at this point are going to shove down my throat the idea that The value of something is determined by how much people are willing to pay for it. They'll talk about supply and demand. They'll say, you know what, if someone's willing to pay $100 for something that you manufactured for 15 cents, then that's what it's worth.
That is what it's worth to that one person. Maybe it reminds them of a long-lost heirloom. Who knows? That is for the individual to decide. However, that is only how much it is worth to that one person. It's likely that you would have a set of people who you couldn't pay to take that item off your hands.
That is how value is determined.
No one is forcing you to buy it. That is the glory of capitalism free markets. If they don't sell the overpriced product, then they have to lower the price or go out of business. They are not entitled to your money.
Saying that it's okay to manufacture something for $1 and then sell it for $10 is like saying that it's okay for me to sell you a dime for $1 because you're stupid enough to pay for it.
If someone is stupid enough to buy a dime for $1, why should they be protected? And you do realize that the rare coins can be bought for hundreds and thousands of dollars. Why? Because of that thing you said a minute ago. There is a low supply and high demand, so the price goes up. Scarcity in all its glory.
I mean, for fuck's sake, taking advantage of the stupidity of someone else for your own monetary gain is the very fucking definition of the word fraud.
Fraud, deceit, trickery, sharp practice, breach of confidence, perpetrated for profit or to gain some unfair or dishonest advantage. How exactly does selling something for more than it cost me to make fit this definition?
So free market capitalism ultimately results in a system where no one can get ahead because everyone can only trade things for things of equal value.
Everyone gets ahead in capitalism. Just look at the last 25 years. Every piece of equipment that an Android phone costs, which costs about $150, replaced such as the VCR, the camcorder, cellular phone, computer, hard drive, would have cost over $5,000 in 1990 and $2012. How is everyone not getting ahead?
It's also a system where the workers own the means of production.
Where in the world did you get that the workers would own the means of production in a capitalist environment? That's a hell of a leap of logic.
So, ironically, if you take free market capitalism to the most literal degree, if you really apply that philosophy across the board, what you get is Marxism. I love it. And hey, free market capitalists, I'm not saying for 1 second that free market capitalism couldn't work. I'm just saying that it couldn't work without fraud and coercion. If you introduce fraud and coercion into the free market system, then sure, then you'll have exactly what you want. A system where businessmen can basically rape, butcher, pillage, whatever they want to do, which I know is your ultimate goal, but don't sell it to the rest of us as a utopian fantasy because it's not.
Where does he get that we want businessmen to rape and pillage? Oh right, leaps of logic.
Okay, now to be fair to the free marketers out there, I did come up with one way that you could make money in a free market system, and that's by selling the completely intangible. That is to say, providing services that don't actually give someone something tangible.
How is selling something tangible different from selling something intangible? If I sell a service, I'm selling my labor directly. If I sell a product, I'm selling the product of my labor. Wherein lies the difference?
At the end of the day, that would include stuff like making YouTube videos. If someone wants to pay $1 bazillion to listen to me talk, then hey, I'm $1 bazillion richer. If 20 people want to pay $5 to listen to me talk, then I just made $100. And that's a good thing. You could also be a prostitute. Prostitutes could make profit in a free market system as long as a prostitute is alive.
Alive? What kind of prostitutes do you know?
And has orifices, they can sell their service to folks like you. And I guess that they could accrue wealth in that fashion, and prostitutes would actually be like the highest level of society. We could have a pornocracy. We could have a big set of tits on the dollar bill and a big old ass on every coin.
Fuck yeah!
That'd be pretty cool. I was bored this afternoon, and I figured I could watch more House, I could go play more Mario, I could watch porn, I could play Flash games on Newgrounds, or I could destroy a cherished American political philosophy that's been growing in popularity over the years.
Bitch, you haven't destroyed shit.
And piss off a bunch of you idiots on YouTube.
So today I had a choice. I can enjoy the things capitalism created, or I can bitch about capitalism on the internet. Guess which one I decided to do?
So yeah, free marketers, you're stupid. I'm the Amazing Atheist, and don't make fun of my haircut.
Your hair is stupid.
Peace! The book! You know the rest.